Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome to the circle. I'm Granddaughter Crow, and I'm really happy to be here. Today in the circle, we are going to be talking about the medicine wheel, the medicine wheel. This is a circle with Granddaughter Crow. Before we begin, I'm going to set sacred space for us. So, welcome into this space, into this time. I'm going to draw a circle around this circle, declaring it as sacred space and a sacred time. I'm going to set my ego to the outside of the circle so I can be a clear conduit for you and for the divine as it reveals itself to you to provide you with wisdom, knowledge, refresh your mind, settle in your spirit, whatever it is that is going to be the most beneficial to you. So, this is the circle, and we will move from there. So, medicine wheel. It's interesting because with the medicine wheel, it's such a basic symbol and they are international to include, different circles that might be like four quadrants, or you can have like 8 spokes or 12 spokes. It's kind of interesting because I'm teaching an astrology class right now, and I just thought about it. I'm like, well, one could even say that the natal chart with its 12 houses is kind of like a medicine wheel. Just a thought. Just a thought. Yes, I make this shit up as I go along. Nevertheless, this is a circle. This is the medicine wheel with Granddaughter Crow. Today, the overall takeaways is going to be about how to embody the energy of the medicine wheel. So, what does that mean? What I mean by that is we conceptualize a lot of things in life. We put it all up in here and it makes sense. And a lot of times that's where it ends. We do live in a society that's very logic centric, brain centric, and all of that. And in that, we forget to do what our ancestors do, which is embody it. What does it feel like in your body? What does the medicine wheel feel like to you personally? And so that's a little bit of a different approach to this. And so we're going to be talking about, embodying the energy of the medicine wheel. Also, today we are going to do the 4 quadrants, how to connect with each quadrant. So we'll be examining each quadrant. And as we do so, I want for each of you to take some of these words and maybe if you have pen and paper available, write down like your own authentic words about when she's talking about the east and the morning and she's giving us these words, what words come to me, and write those down because that's when you start personalizing it and embodying it. So let's see here. Embodying and personalizing, connecting with each quadrant and your personalized medicine wheel. So let's take it from the top. The medicine wheel. Usually the standard, at least with me, the standard of a medicine wheel are the 4 directions, the north, south, east, and west, the 4 times of day and night, which is morning, noon, evening, and nighttime, the 4 bodies of existence, which is the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, the 4 elements, which is earth, air, fire, water, and then your animal totem, guide, or token. And so when I say your animal totem, guide, or token, usually like when I write about the medicine wheel, and I think I wrote about it in Wisdom of the Natural World and had a whole chapter on it. With the animal totems, I usually put like the winged ones in the east, in the south, you have the creepy crawlies, the reptiles, amphibians, and things like that. And in the west, we have the water nation, and in the north, we have the four-leggeds. But this time, and that is a standard, so if you want to add those, but this time I'm not going to be talking about, hey, your animal totem in the East has to be a winged one. I'm going to give you the liberty to go, oh, well, actually, mine is a bear. Mine is a buffalo in the East. I think in the East, I think of whatever. So take the liberty to put your animal that resonates with you when we talk about this energy, if one comes to you. Also, a guide. A lot of times in spiritual paths, they will put like four angels, the archangels. I think when we're talking about like ceremonial magic, which is like the Golden Dawn, the OTO, all of these different ones. There's another one that is the BOTA. Then they usually put like, oh, hail Raphael, hail Gabriel, hail, and they have those different guides. But maybe you have a particular guide if you work with guides and deities that want to come to you. Maybe not, it's up to you, but open your mind to that. And then I also talk about a token. So when we talk about embodying each of these quadrants, maybe you're like, oh, in the East, I think of flowers. Oh, in the West, I think of seashells or whatever. Let you build your own. And I know that this is a lot of information really quickly, but what I'm trying to say is take the liberty to open your mind and let the divine, as it reveals itself to you, speak to you and give you little symbols and signs or animals and guides and tokens for each of these. So, another thing that I wanted to share is I chose this picture uh, on purpose. And obviously, you guys are like, Granddaughter Crow, that's the color scheme. That is not the medicine wheel. But the reason why I chose this is because it kind of opens our minds that maybe my south looks like this and your south looks like this. It's all different shades. Maybe, my west looks like this and your west looks like this. So it's kind of opening our minds to go, oh, each one of us get to have our own personalized flavor for the medicine wheel. This is not going to be one of those classes where Granddaughter Crow says, oh, there's a test at the end. And by the way, you have to think about it like this. No, I'm going to give you structure, foundation, and I want that to lead you to your personalized experience. Let the divine reveal itself to you within the medicine wheel. So let's hit it. Okay, here we go. Let's start in the East. So in the East, we always start on this side in the traditional ones, and then the South and the West and the North, and we'll build on each one of these. But in the East, we're going to be talking about the morning time and the springtime, energy of that. We're going to be aligning that with the mental body and the element of air. We're going to be talking about, maybe you finding your own personal animal token guide. And then what does the East mean to you? That's the final. So I'm going to start this by giving us a little bit of examining each one of these in each of the directions. So let's go from here. Morning and spring. I think sunrise. I think warmth. I think daybreak, new growth in the spring, fresh start. This picture kind of speaks 1,000 words. There's light. What words would you put around the aspect of morning time and springtime? Maybe it's flowers, rain, fog, mist, waking up. What words start embodying this experience of the morning and this experience of the springtime? And then the four bodies of existence. So the four bodies of existence is most aptly shown in the Vitruvian Man. And I speak about this in almost every workshop that I do, excluding like astrology, which I might have even thrown it in there. But it's this aspect of having four bodies. There's a thought process that says, I am a spirit, I live in a body, I have a mind, and I feel emotions. Yes, I believe that to be true. But there is another school of thought that you could also examine it and go, oh my goodness, I have four bodies. I have a physical body. This is not my hand. This is me. I have an emotional body, owning and feeding and taking care and resting your emotions like you would your physical body. I have a mental body, which means that my mental body needs rest and exercise and food for thought. And I have a spiritual body, which means that I need to feed my spirit. I need to rest my spirit. I want my spirit to be healthy. So you utilize the aspect of a body of existence, and it helps you to self-care bigger than just like, oh, I had an emotion and I threw it off. It's more like I had my emotional body felt this, and I think that I need to feed it that in order to balance. So I utilize the Vitruvian Man to kind of show a picture around this. So then the part of the Vitruvian Man that is standing straight and tall with its arms spread out represents the physical body. The one that's in motion represents the emotional body, the movement body. This square represents the mental body. And then the circle represents the spiritual body. And that actually gives us another aspect of, oh, so maybe my physical body isn't the biggest body that I have because I've been housing my spirit in here and my mind up in here and my heart over here. Maybe my emotional body is bigger. Maybe my mental body is out here. Maybe my spiritual body makes up my arraic field. Maybe that's what that is. Me no know, but that's what I'm wondering. It gives you a different school of thought to be able to approach things. So right now, when we're talking about the East, we are talking about the mental body. So this think outside the box body. The mental body, once again, let's focus on the mental body. It has 86 billion neurons. Neurons are thinking cells. So it's like, ooh, we're going to talk just a little bit, gloss over the right hemisphere versus the left hemisphere, and how the mental body is really about consciousness and awareness. So here, let's look at the left and right hemisphere. The left hemisphere gives the sensory stimulation from the right side of the body, and then the right hemisphere controls the left side of the body, crisscross applesauce, that type of a thing. A lot of people are right-handed dominant, and hence they have left hemisphere dominance. And the left hemisphere is about logic and speech and analysis and calculations and time and sequency. It's very this. It also can be very judgmental, and it puts labels on things in order to understand them, and it divides and separates. The logical mind will go, here, I'll explain it really quickly. I like this one. The logical mind will go, okay, this is a tree. If I want to understand the tree, I need to separate it. That's, I'll put a label on it. That's a trunk. That's a branch. I'm going to call that a leaf. That's bark. And I'm going to name this tree oak tree. And now I understand the tree. So I'm not saying that it is judgmental and labeling and separating to mean that that's wrong. I'm saying that that's how we think, especially in hard science. We think that way. Um, the softer science, the more quality type of thinking, which I'll go over in the right hemisphere, that is actually when you stand in front of a tree and you go, I am going to get to know this tree. And you see this organism and you are, whoa. And you just take it all in without judgment as a holistic thing. And then all of a sudden, you see the leaves blow and you see your hair blow in the same direction. And then you realize, oh, I am connected to the tree through the wind. And it's a different way of thinking. It's the difference between this is my hand and this is me. Both equal, but we need to have both of them in order to have a balanced mental body. So, really quickly, I'm keep saying that because I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so much fun information. But we've got the left hemisphere, or the right hemisphere takes care of the left side. But this is where we find creativity. We look at the tree and see the leaves and everything. We find spatial ability. It's about perception. It recognizes faces and it's non-judgmental and it's the wholeness and it's the connectedness. So when I'm talking about the mental body, I want you to expand and go, wow, there is a lot to it. And I can balance my mental body by being creative, listening to music, that type of thinking. So therein lies the mental body. Okay, let's move on to the South. So in the South, so we just talked about the East, the morning, the mental body, the element of air. Think about what that means to you. I'll give you just a second while I take a sip of water. What does the East mean to you? And then we'll move to the South. And if you're watching this on replay, hit pause if you need a minute. Okay, so now let's hang out in the South. Okay, what does noontime and summertime feel like? We're going to be talking about the spiritual body, the element of fire. What type of totems, guides, and tokens come to you here? What does the South mean to you? Okay, so let's go into it. Oh, noontime, summertime. What are words and pictures and thoughts and tokens that come to you during this time? Here's a couple of them that I have. Full light of day, noontime, full light of day. In the summertime, the longest days of the year. And I think about active growth. I'm looking into the natural world. And whereas in the spring I planted those flowers, now in the summer it's growing. In the summer I'm growing. I understand what that means when I feel like I am in the full light of day. And then it's talking, I have this statement. It says, the sun shines the brightest when the earth aligns with the light. The sun shines the brightest when the earth aligns with the light. That is both literal as well as a metaphor. So the sun shines the brightest in the summertime when it's right above us. In the wintertime, it goes over here and we don't get as much. So the sun shines the brightest then. The sun shines the brightest at noontime when it's over us. We don't even, we can't even find our shadow because it's underneath us. The sun shines the brightest when the earth is aligned with the light. The metaphor is you shine the brightest when you align with the light. Yes, I write a book about the shadow that'll be coming out next year. But when you align with the light side of the divine, you shine the brightest. How do you do that, Granddaughter Crow? Oh, meditation. Oh, joining the circle, self-promo. Okay, so anyway, this is that energy. Embody this energy. They even have to wear shades. All right. So again, in the four bodies of existence, now we're going to be focusing on the spiritual body, which aligns with the fire element. Spiritual body, the fire element. This is that big circle. For me, I would say your spiritual body, how I see it, is the largest aspect of you. It lives on beyond your physical, emotional, and mental self. It exists throughout all space and time. It is on fire. So let's take a look at what is the spiritual body. It exists within you, yes, like I have a spirit and it's all up in here. Or maybe it's in my crown chakra, or maybe it goes down my chakras. But it is also something that you can move out beyond you, beyond space and time. No boundaries, no boundaries. So, how do I know that to be true? Because we are here across the United States in different time zones on this Zoom call, and I'm feeling your spirit. You're feeling my spirit. You don't have to be sitting right in the same room as me. It's beyond space and time. And if you watch a replay, that's the time that you're beyond. So those are just like little tiny practical ways to understand, wow, my spirit is beyond space and time, which means that I can say a prayer for somebody on the other side of the earth. My spirit can reach that. I can say a prayer for the future and for the past. My spirit can go there. Very big, big. It desires freedom and expression. Well, Granddaughter Crow, why don't you just say it has freedom and expression? Well, because I know that the spiritual body can be suppressed. People who are in uh, different groups, maybe even, Native American. I was Native American before it was cool. Now it's cool. So I guess I haven't changed, but it's kind of like those, but the spirit can get crushed. So take care of your spiritual body. It is the biggest, brightest honor of yours. It goes beyond space and time, but also it can be very gentle. Take care of it. Do not let people crush your spirit. And if they do, come get Granddaughter Crow and I'll do no magic. Just kidding. I'm not gonna announce that I do no. I'm not gonna do no magic. I'm just playing with you guys. So the consciousness and awareness is what the spiritual body has, and it's beyond everything. It's big. So there's the spiritual body and that fire. Yep, we're already in the West. So right now, before we go there, take a minute and reflect on South, noon, summertime, fire, summertime, hot, spiritual body. Did an animal represent that? Does a guide that you talk to represent that? Does a deity that you align with represent that? What does the South mean to you? And if you're watching this on replay, hit pause and think about it for a few. Meditate on it for a day if you wish. So now we're going to head into the West. Let me just say this. I love, every once in a while, I will do public free the circle. And in such, I try to throw down the mostest. So usually when you come to the circle, it will be a lot slower pace with a lot of guided meditation, and we go into each of these. But this time, I'm like, let's jam pack this because we could focus on each of these elements for a full circle. In fact, we have, but this one is kind of like boom. So if you feel like I'm going too fast, I'm doing it on purpose. But you can always do, I found this little button that you guys can do, and it goes, slow down, Granddaughter Crow. I'm just taking a minute to give me a minute to slow down. Okay, now with a deep breath, let's jump into the West. Okay, the west side of the medicine wheel. Now let's move into the energy of the evening. Autumn time. I feel cooler energy. Now we're going to be focusing on the emotional body and the water elements. What animal, guide, or token comes to you? What does the energy of the West mean to you when you embody it? So let's take a look at some of these aspects really quickly. Here we are, obviously West Coast because the sun is going down in the west. Surfer going out there, cooling down, relaxing. Sunset, cool down, relax, let go, release. This is in the evening. In autumn, we release the leaves on the tree. We release the light of day. This is the time when we start relaxing and cooling down, and it aligns directly with the West. Again, the four bodies, and this time we're talking about the emotional body, the one that is movement, the one that is liquid, the one that moves like water. My emotions definitely move like water. Sometimes they splash, sometimes they wave, and sometimes they just are like this. So, this is the emotional body. Take care of your emotional body. I want to stress that because we live in a society that didn't take the emotional body seriously, especially in professions and sometimes in relationships, forever. Back in my looking at history, I remember Emotional Intelligence by Goldman, Daniel Goldman. And this book came out in I think, the 1980s. And it was directed to the professional community. And it was called Emotional Intelligence, EQ. And I was so excited because I was like, oh, they are starting to say that it's okay not to be a number. It's okay to have emotions. The funny thing about the book is it helps leaders to have emotional intelligence. And me as an empath, with all my other little empath people that are here, they're like, oh, is that why I was suppressed at work? I wasn't supposed to bring my personality and my emotions. I was told that if I'm sensitive, I am weak. No, you are strong. Feel your feelings. Feed your emotional body. Feed it good food. Feed it love, encouragement, inspiration, understanding, music, painting. Feed your emotional body. You're allowed to have it. It's part of you, it's a quarter of you. All right, here we go. Look at this picture. This represents to me the emotional body, this coolness, this refreshingness, this brightness, but it has so many different aspects. So, the emotional body, and this is the one I'm going to take a little bit more time with. Do you know that the heart is the first thing to develop within the womb? It develops before the brain. Maybe that means it's priority. Do you know that in heart math, there is a place and it's called heartmath.com. So, yes, HEART and then MATH, heartmath.com. You can find out they study heart, magnitude. And this is where I got this information. So, the magnetic field of the heart is 100 times greater than the magnetic field of the brain. And the magnetic pulse from the heart can radiate 3 to 10 feet from the body. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. Well, how do they know this? They have this special equipment. And I think it's interesting because it says that it radiates out. So they have this equipment that recognizes the magnitude and of each one, and they say that the heart is 100 times greater than the brain. Well, then why do we live in a brain-centric society? Why do we live in a left hemisphere-centric society if the right hemisphere brings us creativity and connectedness and the heart radiates more? I don't know. Maybe we didn't always, but I'm just propping up the heart energy. So I want to take us through a small little exercise. I'm going to invite each of you to inhale through the nose, hold that breath within you for a moment, and release it through the mouth. And continue to do the threefold breath through the nose. Find your own rhythm and timing, and release. And as you inhale, we're in sacred space, and you can relax, hold, and release. Now, I'm going to invite you to move your consciousness to your physical heart. Even put your hand on your heart. Recognize it. Can you feel it beating? It's alive. It's the first thing that developed in the womb. It is brilliant. And now as it beats, I'm going to invite you to let that beat start radiating out, radiating through your body because it pumps blood to your whole body, radiating outside of your body, extending and moving, and let it radiate out all around you. You can go 3 feet, 10 feet, whatever you feel comfortable with. That radiating energy. If you do this heart exercise a couple times, maybe morning and night, maybe once a day, your heart will begin to just do this. And when your heart does this, what ends up happening is you begin to regulate people's emotions around you. You begin to experience the world from a heart place. So now gently, feel free to return to this at any time, but I'm going to gently invite you back. You can keep radiating. I feel it. And I may be thousands of miles away from you, but I'm just like, oh, the love, the power, the understanding. It's amazing. So utilize that energy. Look up heart math and utilize that energy in your practical life when you have to go to a difficult meeting, when you want to relax in the evening. The heart energy, the releasing, the relaxing, the west side. It comforts and heals. You are not alone when you sit within your heart. You can feel that. They actually did a study and they put a dysregulated person into a room with 2 people who were doing that. And pretty quickly, the dysregulated person got the right pulse and their heart started regulating too. I wish they would do that in schools and at work. You can. Okay, where are we? Okay, so now take a moment, review the West, the evening, the autumn, the emotional body, the heart math, the water, refreshing. Does an animal align with this for you? A token, a guide? What does the West feel like to you? Pause if you're watching the recording and take your time. All right, let's move into the North. With all of that, we have collected the East, the south, the west, and now let's move into the north side of the medicine wheel. Here, the time of day night is night. The season is winter. What does winter feel like to you? Here, we will visit the physical body, the element of earth, the tangible. What does it mean to you? Is there a significance? It's funny because my cat is sleeping here, and I can hear her say, I am your animal totem in the east, in the south, in the west, and in the north. I'm like, oh my goodness. Her emotional heart body must be feeling this. Anyway, so now we are in the north. Let's talk about this energy. And what does this feel like to you personally? Let's move into the nighttime. Here we are. We're in the nighttime. We're in the winter. What does this feel like to you? For me, it's a time to go within. At night, I go to sleep, I go to bed. In the winter, I hibernate a little bit more. I'm not outside playing tennis. So these are words that it means to me. At nighttime, when we sleep and dream and rest our physical body, we're actually rejuvenating all four bodies. Well, that's powerful. With that knowledge, I want you to understand that when you rest your physical body, your emotional body gets to dream, your mental body gets to digest, and your spiritual body gets premonitions. So when you rest is really, really good. So when you rest and take downtime and relax your physical body, you are indeed feeding all four bodies. How powerful is that? I thought I was just snoring. I know I make a lot of silly jokes, but I have fun. So this is where we sleep and we dream and we digest. What does night and winter mean to you? Maybe you were born in the winter months and you're like, really, Granddaughter Crow? Because this is the time that I feel more alive. I love the winter. I'm a ski person. I love going out in the snow. I make angels. Then put your words around this. What are your words for night? I'm a night owl. That's when I wake up. It's silent and I get to think. Winter. What do these words mean to you? These are what they mean to me. Put your words here in the north. The four bodies, once again, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. The physical body aligns with the element of earth. Well, gosh, that actually makes sense because the emotional body is like water and it flows like water. The mental body flows in the air. That makes sense. The spiritual body is on fire with its anointing and its spiritual flame. And the physical body is right here. I can touch it. It is the earth. It's beautiful. So the physical body, the intelligence of the physical body, it has muscle memory. So if you have ever driven somewhere so many times and one day you're like, whoa, I'm here already. I don't remember how I got here. Don't worry, your physical body was watching for those red lights and everything. I'm not saying that this is a goal. I'm just saying that this is something that we experience because of muscle memory. Or when we are exercising, or maybe learning martial arts, or learning how to dance, or learning yoga. Well, that's probably not a yoga pose, but learning these things, the muscle begins to remember. It's like riding a bike. Your muscles remember. And if you think about that, that's pretty intelligent. It's very intelligent. So the physical body has its own intelligence. Do you know it responds faster than the mind? They have studies that I have seen, and maybe you guys have heard of, that If you put your hand above a fire, your hand will pull away from the fire quicker than your brain registering, oh, that's fire, let me pull my hand away. It's very reactionary. It's very intelligent. I want to tell you guys this quick story. Back in, I think it was 2012, 2013, I had to get wrist surgeries. Yes, on each of them. And so I remember one of them, I had an ulna reduction, which ended up causing me to have to be in, they didn't put me in a cast. They put me in like a plastic cast that I could take off and put on, but it was like, okay, you got to sit exactly like this, you know? So I was like, okay. So I have this hard plastic cast that they kind of measured and all of that. And I slept with it. And one morning, my body woke up and I was getting these electrical nerve reactions. Wow. Oh, I wasn't even awake. Didn't have any coffee. And I just sat up and my body went to my sock drawer. I'm looking through my sock drawer, looking through my sock drawer. And as I'm waking up, I'm like, wow, I'm going crazy. Why am I looking through my sock drawer? So I close the sock drawer, lay back down, try to think, and then another, and I jump out of bed and I look through my sock drawer. And then I'm like, by this time, I'm awake enough to go, what are you doing? Why don't you go downstairs, sit on the couch, prop your arm up, take off this thing and think. So now I engage my mental body. And so I was like, okay, okay. So I went downstairs and I was like, mentally, what? This hurts. And it feels like if I had a new pair of plastic shoes that was rubbing against my heel, what would I do to make those plastic shoes more comfortable? Oh, you know what? I would get those little gel things that you put in your shoes. Now, where could I find one of those? In my sock drawer. So I went upstairs in my sock drawer, pulled out those little rubber things that make your feet feel better, and stuck it in, and it relieved the pain. And of course, I went in and got it adjusted the same day. But that was my mental body, its intelligence that was my physical body's intelligence that overrode my mental body, and my mental body had to catch up. So this isn't always the first reactor. This has a lot of intelligence. Have you ever kind of like, I know maybe it's old age, but decide your body just kind of starts moving around and you're like, why did I walk into this room? You know, yeah, maybe old age, but follow your body, let it do what it wants to do. And you'll be surprised that there is an intellect around that. Or maybe Granddaughter Crow is just justifying why I forget why I walk into a room. So nevertheless, um, so the physical body, the muscle memory, it responds faster than the mind. This is the state, the physical body, where all comes manifest. What do you mean, Granddaughter Crow? Well, my emotional body comes manifest in my physical body through tears, through smiles, through hugs. My mental body is expressed through my physical body, through, I don't know, I'm thinking, right? My spiritual body comes manifest here in the physical realm, in the north. It is a manifestation, prayer, prayer hands emoji, high five emoji, all of those things. The physical body, things come manifest. So a lot of times when we look at running a diagnostic around, I am not feeling well. My role is I go, oh, well, let's take a look at each of your four bodies. How is your spiritual body? Does it need food? How is your mental body? Does it need rest or maybe a good book? How is your emotional body? Has it found its freedom to radiate? And then how is your physical body? Because all of them are going to be housed within your physical body. So, from a shamanistic point of view, when I run a diagnostic around somebody who comes to me because their head hurts or their knee hurts, I don't just concentrate on the physical body. I take a look at, is there something else that contributed to this? I should do a circle on shamanic healing. That would be fun. Maybe that'll be my next free circle. Shamanic healing, the four bodies of existence can manifest within the physical body. It wants to heal itself. When we realize that our physical body wants to heal itself, we allow it to heal itself. I was taking a road trip up in the mountains and I saw all these bicyclists and they pulled over, they had to change their tires, they had to do this. And I thought to myself, with machines, they don't repair themselves. We have to repair them. But with this, it wants to repair itself constantly. If we continue to put it in the environment where it can do that, that is its will to heal. Awesome. Yay. Okay. We're almost to the end, the application. Well, that was a lot of information, Granddaughter Crow. What do I do with this? I invite you in the morning, face east, embody what that feels like to you, what you wrote down in the notes. Think about the morning in the springtime. Literally at noon, take a minute, face south. Remember that feeling. Remember what this feels like, what south feels like to you. In the evening, face west. Pay attention to your emotional body. At nightfall, face north and feel the north. The more that you do this, the more that you embody the medicine wheel. And why is that important? Because then you can run a self-diagnostic when you are not necessarily in balance. You're like, I feel like I'm way in the west here. Maybe that's okay. But if you want to return to the balance part of the medicine wheel, you will recognize, oh, I'm here. I feel west, But don't go to a psychologist and say, I feel west. Granddaughter Crow told me about the west and I'm feeling really west. They'd be like, okay, don't talk to this Granddaughter Crow and what kind of meds are you on? But now I'm telling you, feel the directions of the different aspects so that you can feed your soul. You can balance your four bodies of existence. You are recognizing the seasons, the time of day. It helps you to ground and center. And I bet so much more. But that's what this is. In the morning, face east, noon, face south, face west, face north. That's just because I'm facing east this way. So, nevertheless, you guys, oh, there's something fun that we do. We're almost done, but it's time for the 3-card pull. What is this 3-card pull? Well, pick a group. Do you want to be in, hold on. There we go. I'm back. Do you want to be in group 1? Do you want to be in group 2? Or do you want to be in group 3? Pick a group. Yes, some people pick all of the above. Some people pick 2 different ones, but pick a group and I'm going to pull a card for a message and an animal for you for this week. Okay, group 1. Here we go. I'm going to pull a card for group 1. Oh, group 1. I had to pull 2 cards. First one is a long snows moon. Try to get it as close to you as possible. The long snows moon. It says contemplation, messages, and deliberation. It's the number 27. I really talk about this card as though Maybe you've been in a winter for a little too long. And what does that mean? You're in the north for a long time and you want to kind of move out, but the messages are coming into you from your ancestors. Talk to your ancestors, and even if they're not directly your ancestors, talk to my ancestors. I'm Granddaughter Crow, summon Grandfather Crow. Let him talk to you to give you messages to find the way to go. Yes, you can borrow my ancestors. Oh, and here's your animal. Be gentle with yourself. You've been through a hard time. Get the messages from spirit. Be gentle with yourself and move forward. Okay, group two. Do, 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 do. Group two, what is the message for group two? Oh, group two. Here we go. Cleanse. Come on. Cleanse moon. Releasing burdens. You guys, take a load off, release burdens so that you can have that energy flow. Release the old stuff or the things that you're worried about that, you know, just let it go. Maybe you're taking on responsibility for somebody else's responsibility, or you're worried about what somebody thinks. Let it go. Shed that skin, heal that energy. I love this. Cleansing. Cleanse yourself, cleanse your body. I think I'm going to do a new meditation, put up on my, not a new one, an old meditation, and put it up on my YouTube channel about cleansing. Okay, group three. Ooh, you guys. The ripe berries moon. It's the number 23. Life lessons, victory, and courage. It is the birds. You know, it's kind of interesting because one could say that this is a medicine wheel. There's a raven up here, there's a hummingbird over here, there's an owl over here, there's a hawk over here, and they're all birds, birds of the air. Maybe you are an air sign astrologically, I don't know. But this is beautiful because what it also means is that the medicine wheel is right here too, guys. I know. I should have mentioned that. This is the front of the medicine wheel. And this means have joy and happy thoughts. Have the hummingbird in the forefront of your mind. Have the raven in the back of your mind, in that subconscious, going into the darkness of the void, that magic. Have the messenger on this side of your brain. The hawk comes in with messages, and have that owl on the west side of your creativity, your psychic ability. So group three, what animal? Ooh, ooh, two of them. You guys, first is mountain lion, which means step into your place of leadership and speak your truth. You're powerful, rawr, right? And abundance coming to you because of everything that you've been through. Step into a place of leadership and allow abundance to come in. Yes, abundance, abundance. So you guys, I am going to wrap us up. So apply this medicine wheel to your life, different times of the day. The medicine wheel. I can send this out if you guys want it. Just let me know, and I'd be happy to send this out. Overall takeaways: embody the energy of the medicine wheel, how to connect with each quadrant, your personal medicine wheel. This is the circle, the medicine wheel with Granddaughter Crow. I certainly hope that you receive something today that will empower you in your practical life. And love ya. See you on the flippity flip. Where's my record? There you are.